so good to see you guys all. If you can make room for everybody, I see some seats up here next to Caroline. We've got everybody here. Excellent, excellent. Now, how many of you have ever had this experience? You have a jar, and you go to open it, and it's stuck, right? How many of you have ever tried hard to open a jar and had a tough time getting it open? How many of you have ever had a tough time? Okay, this is a universal experience. Oh my goodness, I can't get it open. And you give up and you bang it on the side of your countertop, and then you dent your countertop so it even gets worse. All of those things. It's a hard thing to do. And sometimes we need help. And then you give it to your dad or your mom, and then they do the exact same thing. Have you ever run into a hard thing in your life? Something that was difficult to do? Raise your hand if you've ever run into something that was difficult for you to do. Absolutely. Maybe sometimes there's a door that's stuck. There's a door that's stuck up in our offices, and I keep on just going to open it. I'm looking at Valerie, you know it, and then you run right into it because it doesn't open. You got to kind of give it a shoulder. Those hard things are difficult, and they're not just physical things, but hard things in our lives. Well, this morning, we remember the story where Jesus was put into a tomb, and the next day, women came to care for his body, but they were concerned. They were talking amongst each other, and they said, but once we get there, how are we going to move the rock that was placed in front of the tomb? It's too big. We cannot move it. They were trying to imagine how they would push against that hard rock. You know what was amazing was they arrived and they found that the rock had already been moved. What comes in an Easter basket? Easter eggs or rocks. I have a basket full of rocks. Can you each take one? Actually, Jack, could I ask you to come and help me? I know, being the son of the pastor, you get called on a lot. Would you mind walking this around and making sure everybody gets a stone? It's heavy. There we go. Excellent. All of you are going to get this stone. And I know that there's an Easter egg hunt after our worship service today, and I'm sure all of you are looking forward to it and filling up your Easter baskets with Easter eggs that have prizes inside, and that's exciting. But I want you guys to also take this rock, because I want it to be a reminder to you about that gigantic rock that was covering the tomb that the women came to care for Jesus and found that it had been rolled away. And it wasn't rolled away by people, by big burly men with big muscles, but that God had rolled it away. Because as they found out, they came to find Jesus' body in the tomb. And what did they find? Nothing, an empty tomb. Some of the stories even talk about finding like a cloth folded up nicely and neatly. And as a matter of fact, some of the other stories say that there was an angel sitting on the rock calmly, saying, "What are you looking for? You will not find Jesus here. He has been raised from the dead. I have rolled this rock away so that you can see that the tomb is empty." And it is a reminder that we will run into hard things, heavy things, right? These rocks aren't that heavy, but I want them to be a symbol unto you that this rock symbolizes that heavy thing that might be in your life. Maybe it's an emotional thing. Maybe it's a hard thing to do in school. Maybe it's a physical thing that you've had a tough time with. And I want you to hold on to that rock and think of that heavy thing and be reminded that God is with you and that God seeks to help you move those heavy things into places so that you can move through them and get through them, that there's great hope for something greater on the other side. And that the lesson for this day is that God's love can overcome all things, even our greatest fears, even the hardest things, even death, as we celebrate Jesus risen today on Easter Sunday. So we all have learned to say, I'm just going to let the kids do it, Christ is risen. You respond, Christ is risen indeed. Christ is risen. I love it. Let this stone that you place in your Easter baskets today be a reminder that with God we can achieve all things, and we know that we will move through the difficult times always, and there is light and life and hope on the other side. Amen? Amen. You guys have been so great. I really appreciate you being